causing others to fall off their chairs, and the impact is even felt by those outside the tavern. However, Wildfire stands firm, thinking that the blow only depletes a fraction of his power, around 1 to 2%. As he approaches, the bar owner becomes frightened and begs the player not to come any closer. Wildfire warns him that if he can't control his strength, the owner might meet his end in his hands. Meanwhile, the drunken man contemplates whether Kasky has truly been defeated by the kid. Wildfire ponders launching an attack on the bar owner, believing that a single blow from his sword could inflict 10 damage to the owner's HP. However, he ponders whether the owner will still refuse to pay the reward after all the trouble. Instead, Wildfire suggests that it would be easier to simply kill him. The mere mention of this frightens the owner, and he quickly offers to pay the money, pleading not to be killed. Satisfied, the player realizes that he no longer needs to go through the hassle of retrieving Kasky's body. While a fire proceeds to ask for his payment, the bar owner hastily gathers all his savings, stuffing them into a bag, hoping it is the correct amount. The owner anxiously asks if it is enough, but after counting, Wildfire informs him that the sum is short by 20 silver coins. Hurriedly, the bar owner goes to fetch the remaining amount, but discovers that all his money is gone, leaving him with nothing. Man, how soon the tables have turned. Reminding the owner of their initial encounter, Wildfire recalls how he had requested 20 servings of food and milk, with a long shelf life. The realization brings a glimmer of hope to the tavern owner, and he rushes to procure the required items for the boy. Meanwhile, among the spectators, a girl inside the tavern starts to wonder about the player's uniqueness. Her thoughts drift towards his background, especially since he managed to teach the notorious desperado a lesson. Another boy chimes in, mentioning that the owner isn't weak, implying that the player must be exceptionally strong. He hopes, though, that this strong boy won't invite trouble. As anticipation fills the air, the owner returns with ample servings of milk and bread for Wildfire. Graciously, the player accepts the provisions and departs the tavern. Inside the bar, a collective sigh of relief sweeps through the people, thinking the kid has moved on. However, their surprise mounts as he reappears to share a tidbit. Kasky's body lies straight ahead, past the city. The owner's determination ignites as he decides to investigate. The kid no longer appears weak in his eyes. Unexpectedly, a newcomer named Wiki steps into the tavern, her curiosity piqued by the unusual daytime commotion. Her inquiry about the early bar closure startles the drunken man, earning him a scolding for his loud reaction. Another patron confesses to being equally startled, assuming the kid had returned. The attention turns to Wiki, who arrives bearing new information about a bounty. She speaks of a seemingly feeble boy with a bounty of 203 gold coins on his head, expressing a desire to cross paths with him. Meanwhile, the owner contemplates moving his shop elsewhere due to concerns. How did such a weak man end up with a 100 gold coin bounty on his head? Ponders the old drunkard and Cars. Intrigued by Wicker's revelation about the bountied boy, they inquire about his appearance, particularly if he sports a long black trench coat. In response, Wicker reveals a picture of Wildfire, prompting Cars to realize that the boy's bounty is double his own. The shock settles in as he comprehends why he couldn't defeat him. Wicker proposes a partnership to the drunkard, suggesting they work together to reveal the player's whereabouts. She offers a share of the bounty as an incentive. The drunkard, however, declines cautiously, warning Wicker of the boy's unsuspected strength and recounting his victory over Cars. The bar owner adds his caution, advising against any action that could lead to trouble. Wicker shifts her thoughts, noting that the owner's injuries were limited, indicating he likely didn't intend to kill Cars. This insight raises the possibility of communication. Meanwhile, Wiki takes a perch on the counter, attempting to extract information from the owner about the player's location. In a different part of town, Wildfire explores, seeking a blacksmith to no avail. The absence of one makes him wonder. He acknowledges that he possesses sufficient funds to remove his bounty, but realizes a visit to the city's main hall is necessary. However, concerns cloud his mind, fearing that his abilities might not suffice to evade city soldiers, especially during a siege. Amidst his doubts, the player decides to be proactive. He accesses the game system, reviewing the materials at his disposal. With this, he readies himself for the challenges that lie ahead. Wildfire noticed the impressive quality of Kasky's horn and started thinking about how he could use it to create an awesome weapon. The boy had a lot of things on his mind, like finding a blacksmith. Maybe he needed an upgrade to his blacksmith locator skill. Just then, out of the blue, a boy walked up to him and asked if he needed help or if he was searching for a blacksmith. Wildfire was taken aback by the sudden appearance of the boy. He mentioned his search for a skilled blacksmith and asked if the boy knew of any. To his surprise, the stranger claimed to be the best blacksmith in the entire city, despite not looking like one at first glance. He seemed well equipped for the job. However, Wildfire had his doubts. The boy didn't dress like a typical blacksmith, but the boy understood his skepticism and explained that he only wore blacksmith clothes while working. This made Wildfire more inclined to believe him. The boy took Wildfire's hand and led him to a quiet, dimly lit alley to talk privately. In the secluded alley, Wildfire revealed his desire to have a weapon crafted. The young blacksmith's eyes lit up with excitement as he asked if Wildfire had any materials. With a sense of pride, Wildfire presented Kaski's horn. The blacksmith's excitement grew even more, and he assured Wildfire that he would create the most amazing weapon from it. Just as the conversation was getting exciting, Wiki suddenly appeared out of nowhere. She accused the blacksmith of being a liar, which instantly infuriated the boy. He raised his voice in defense against her accusations of cheating him out of a ruby in a previous encounter. Wiki, however, wasn't one to back down. She warned the boy, named Brian, that crossing Wildfire could have serious consequences, showing him a wanted poster of Wildfire and emphasizing that he shouldn't offend him. Wiki then turned her attention to Wildfire, demanding payment for the information she provided earlier. She claimed she had helped him avoid trouble. Terrified, Brian fled the scene with Wiki's voice echoing after him, instructing him to leave the fee in their usual spot. It seemed like Brian narrowly escaped a potentially dangerous situation. With Brian gone, Wildfire turned to Wicca and sought answers about her identity and motives for helping him. Wicca revealed herself as an intelligence dealer who had access to exclusive information. She recounted stories of her past, like selling information about a gold robbery in their city. She even mentioned a case from a year ago involving the disappearance of the city's lord. Wicca's confidence was palpable as she boasted about her impressive career. She explained that she was drawn to helping Wildfire due to his reputation as a victorious individual. To prove her sincerity, she proposed a collaboration. She wanted to take Wildfire to the best blacksmith in the world. However, Wildfire wasn't ready to jump into a partnership blindly. He warned Wicca that if he ever discovered any deceit, their cooperation would come to an immediate end. Wicca assures him that she has no intentions of betraying him and eagerly anticipates their collaboration leading the way. The intelligence merchant embarks on a journey with Wildfire towards the city of Veruga. Despite the player's suspicions about the remote location they encounter on their path, Wicca reassures him that the city is just ahead. During your journey, the girl questions Wildfire about his claim of killing Kaski. Confidently, he affirms that it was an easy task. This convinces Wicca of the need to gain his trust for his smooth collaboration. As they approach a city, Wildfire expresses concern about potential attacks. Wicca reveals her prior planning and leads him through an underground sewage system. She assures the player that guards avoid patrolling such repugnant places, even if the government commands otherwise. The intelligence merchant explains that these secret passages are reserved for individuals of certain status and provide access throughout Veruga City. Climbing a stairway, Wicca takes the lead while warning Wildfire not to peek at her. What does she think his crime is? Being a pervert? He resolves not to underestimate the non-player characters, NPCs, in the game, having been deceived twice before. Good for you. Eventually they reach the city, and Wiki directs Wildfire to a seemingly ordinary small blacksmith shop. However, he questions whether it truly is the best blacksmith in the world. A man emerges from the shop, and Wiki introduces him as Miss Timothy, a friend of her father and a skilled blacksmith. She requests him to craft a weapon for Wildfire, presenting the player as her friend in a difficult situation. To their surprise, Timothy declines, stating that he left the blacksmithing profession long ago. I guess Wiki is more of an intelligence misdealer. The blacksmith rather offers a place for hiding Wildfire. Wiki informs the man about her friend's intention to use Kaski's horn as the weapon's material, and playfully suggests that the blacksmith might not possess the skill to create a weapon from such a precious material. Provoked, Timothy asserts his ability not only to craft a simple weapon, but also to create a growth-type weapon using Kaski's horn. Mr. Timothy graciously invites them into his home, where Wildfire expresses his astonishment at the prospect of a weapon that can grow. However, the blacksmith is uncertain about his ability to create such a high-grade weapon. Seeking reassurance, Mr. Timothy asks both Wildfire and Wicca if they believe he is capable of the task. The blacksmith is uncertain about creating a high-grade weapon. The player assures him of his confidence in the blacksmith's abilities and presents him with the Kaski's horn, which impresses Mr. Timothy due to its epic quality. The blacksmith explains that it has been years since he had the opportunity to work with such a high-level material, and expresses his gratitude for their trust. With a sense of urgency, Mr. Timothy closes the door and hurries into his workshop to begin crafting the weapon. Wiki reassures Wildfire that the blacksmith's initial hesitation was not meant to be rude, and the player understands, though he is concerned about Mr. Timothy's admission of not having worked with such high-level materials in years. Wildfire inquires about the blacksmith's previous experience with materials like Kasky's horn, but Wicca evades the question and guides him outside. Once they are outside, she reveals to Wildfire that Mr. Timothy is no ordinary blacksmith. Intelligence Merchant tells him about a legendary weapon, a blacksmith forge called the Fang of Truth, crafted from the fangs of Tlatuk. This revelation leaves Wildfire stunned by Mr. Timothy's extraordinary past. Their conversation is abruptly interrupted when Wiki pushes the player against a wall, urging him to remain quiet. We could have been such a hot moment with pressing and all, but our hero-turned-villain seems to notice as soldiers appear, and the girl explains that they are in the city's centre where patrols are common. She advises Wildfire to hide and avoid drawing attention to himself, emphasizing that he is a special individual. Wiki also cautions him to maintain silence and not disturb Mr. Timothy, who requires utmost concentration for his work. After a while, they both find amusement in deceiving the soldiers while remaining hidden. Suddenly, Mr. Timothy emerges from his shop, presenting Wildfire with an impressive-looking sword that surprises the player. A screen displays information about the sword named Killen Horn, with an epic quality. It is a one-handed sword that increases in level as the player levels up, boasting special effects such as Crying Blood Power and Devour. Wildfire is astounded by the presence of 3 special effects in a single weapon. The Crying Blood effect permanently enhances the blood-sucking ability, Power increases attack power, and Devour replenishes life value by 0.1% when the user defeats an opponent. Mr. Timothy eagerly asks if the player is satisfied with the weapon he has crafted. Wildfire expresses his gratitude, proclaiming it to be the best weapon he has ever seen, and promising to make the sword unforgettable to the world. What will happen next? Find out next time by staying tuned for our future recaps. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more great recaps.